If you're planning a trip to Portugal for the first time, then I'm here to help with this 10-day itinerary that takes you from the northern city of Porto to the capital city Lisbon. I absolutely love Portugal. It's unbelievably beautiful with stunning landscapes and picturesque cities and towns full of history and culture. In this video, I'll give you tips on how to get around, what to see and do, as well as what to eat, so you can make the most of your time there. Just forgive me for my Portuguese pronunciation. You'll start your 10-day adventure with 2 days in Porto, the second most popular city in Portugal. This charming coastal city is known for its interesting neighbourhoods, tasty food, calm atmosphere, and of course, its port wine production. On your first day, explore the downtown area, known as Baixa. This is the heart of the city and home to many of Porto's most well-known landmarks. Wandering its hilly streets, you'll see sites like the 75-metre high Clérigos Tower, which offers 360 degrees panoramic views of the city, the neoclassical Porto Town Hall, and countless beautiful churches like the imposing Porto Cathedral, the oldest in the city. A real highlight in this area is the Bento train station, whose interior is decorated with roughly 20,000 stunning blue and white painted tiles, representing Portugal's history and traditions. Exploring can be hungry work, so make sure you enjoy one of Porto's most famous dishes for lunch. A must-try here is a francesinha, a huge sandwich filled with various meats topped with a fried egg and spicy sauce. In the afternoon, make your way down to Caixa de Ribeira, a bustling riverfront promenade area lined with colourful buildings, narrow passages, and plenty of traditional restaurants and bars to pop into. This area is a lovely place to sit down and enjoy the views across the river and of the passing boats. You'll find the iconic Luís I Bridge here, which you can walk along for wonderful views over the Douro River and the surrounding area. On your second day, spend time enjoying what the city is best known for, delicious port wine. For this, you'll need to cross the river to Via Nova de Gaia. This is actually a separate city to Porto, but it's where you'll find lots of historic wine lodges and cellars that store and mature Portugal's most beloved beverage. There are many famous wineries to visit here that offer tours and tastings, but I personally recommend Graham's Port Lodge. Afterwards, explore the quieter side of the river before making your way down to Caixa de Gaia. This riverfront promenade offers wonderful views across to Porto, as well as giving you a chance to see the old cargo boats that once transported barrels of wine from the Douro region to the port houses. There's even a cable car that you can take a ride on if you fancy some fantastic views of the Ribeira and the Porto wine cellar roofs. The next morning, you're going to take a 4-hour scenic train ride to the quaint town of Pinhão in the stunning UNESCO-listed Douro Valley wine region. Train tickets can be booked in advance on the official Portuguese rail website. Dotted with terraced vineyards and historic wine estates, this part of Portugal is the country's primary wine-producing region. In fact, it's the oldest regulated wine region in the world. This makes Pinhão the perfect place to chill for a couple of days while enjoying some top-quality wines and spectacular views. On your first day in Pinhão, stroll around this quiet little town and grab yourself some lunch before visiting a winery. Unsurprisingly, this is one of the best activities you can do in Pinhão. There are many wine estates, or quintas as they're called here, that open their doors to visitors and offer tours where you can explore their vineyards and cellars, and of course do wine and port tastings. Which one you go to is up to you, but I can highly recommend Quinta de la Rosa. Spend the rest of your day relaxing and enjoying the spectacular surroundings with a nice glass of wine. On day 4, I suggest making the most of Pinhão's wonderful landscapes by going on a hike. Pinhão is a paradise for hikers with numerous well-marked trails that take you through terraced vineyards, olive groves and small villages. Make sure you bring some sun protection though, because there's little to no cover at times. My husband and I loved our long walk. It was certainly tiring, but once we made it to the top of the hill, we found a wine shop where we enjoyed sweeping views over the valley with an ice-cold glass of locally made wine. Once you're back in town and well rested, take a late afternoon boat tour down the picturesque Douro River. These tours depart regularly throughout the day and last for 1 or 2 hours depending on the route. A short but interesting audio guide in English and other languages is also included in the ticket price. It's a lovely and relaxing way to end your stay in Pinhão, especially as you watch the sun slowly setting. The next day, travel back to Porto before switching trains and heading south to Coimbra. This historic hilltop city in the centre of Portugal has a charming atmosphere and a wonderfully preserved medieval old town. The journey here will take around 4.5 hours door to door, so spend your first day exploring the old town's steep and narrow cobblestone streets. You'll pass by centuries-old city gates like the Porto de Barbaca, cute boutique shops and numerous historical landmarks. Some of the most striking sights here are the old Cathedral of Coimbra, a 12th century sand-coloured church that blends Romanesque, Moorish and Gothic styles, and the beautiful Santa Cruz Church, which is renowned for its exquisite blue tile murals. The most famous site in Coimbra though is the UNESCO-listed University. It's not only the oldest in Portugal, but one of the oldest in the world. This historic complex sits perched atop the Old Town Hill, and visitors are free to explore the grounds. In addition, there are several areas accessible for a fee, such as the Jerónimos Library and the Royal Palace. As the evening draws on, make your way to one of Coimbra's pretty town squares, like Praça do Comércio, to enjoy the fun atmosphere and live music before having a local dinner. On your second day, spend a relaxing morning wandering through the university's botanical garden. I love Botanical Garden, and this one does not disappoint. It's a pretty large space filled with all kinds of gorgeous plant life, pretty fountains, and even a bamboo forest to walk through, as well as an old aqueduct. The garden is free to enter, which is always a plus. After, make your way down to the riverfront for a stroll along the promenade. The riverside area is really lovely to walk along, and if you cross over the bridge, you can get some great views of the old town. On this side, you can also visit the ruins of Santa Clara a Valha, a medieval monastery abandoned centuries ago due to flooding. If you're here in the hotter months, take a taxi to one of the riverside beaches like Belém River Beach. The water here is incredibly refreshing, though the current can be quite strong. On the morning of day 7, you'll head down to Portugal's bustling capital Lisbon. This takes about 2 hours from Coimbra, with regular trains throughout the day. I'm a huge fan of this vibrant and exciting city. It's not only absolutely gorgeous and incredibly photogenic, but there's so much to see and do here. On your first day, you'll want to explore the stunning historic centre. This downtown area, with its hilly streets, cool street art, incredibly good food, and of course the iconic yellow trams, is the perfect place to begin your stay in Lisbon. To really understand the city's history and culture, I recommend doing a guided walking tour. My husband and I really enjoyed the one that we did, which took us to various important sites in the city centre, like Praça do Comércio, Santa Justa Elevator, and the atmospheric ruins of the Carmo convent, which were destroyed during the devastating earthquake of 1755. After a delicious lunch of, say, freshly grilled sardines, followed by pastel de nata, make your way to Alfama, Lisbon's oldest neighbourhood. This photogenic and quaint part of the city is a joy to explore, with its whitewashed houses covered in colourful flowers, narrow little streets, small cafes and shops to pop into. Here you'll find the iconic São Jorge Castle, along with numerous lookout points that offer fantastic views over the surrounding area, which are perfect at sunset. On the morning of day 8, take the bus or tram 5 kilometres west to Belém. The biggest draw here is the spectacular UNESCO-listed Jerónimos Monastery. Renowned for its incredible architecture, beautiful carvings and decorations, and peaceful cloisters, it's an absolute must-visit while in Lisbon. You could really spend hours here admiring all the intricate details. For a post-sightseeing snack, head to the nearby Pastel de Belém for one of the best pastel de natas you can get in the city, before heading to the banks of the Tagus River. Here you can check out a couple of cool landmarks, including the intricately decorated Belém Tower and the imposing 52-metre high Monument of the Discoveries, which celebrates Portugal's seafaring history and maritime explorers. Once back in town, spend the rest of the day doing some exploring, checking out more street art, and finding some nice cafes and bars to relax in. Later on, you should find a nice viewpoint like the Miradouro São Pedro de Alcântara to enjoy the atmosphere before dinner. On day 9, you'll escape the city and head to Sintra, a beautiful region home to dozens of palaces and castles, surrounded by thick forest and rolling green hills. Sintra can be reached in about 40 minutes from Lisbon's Rossio train station for just a few euros. The most famous and iconic site here is the National Palace of Pena, a colourful and fairy-tale-like stately home. It's really impressive and incredibly photogenic. I'll be honest though, while I'm glad I visited Pena Palace, it wasn't my favourite site in Sintra. It was really busy at certain points, and there's an extra cost to go inside. Still, the exterior was very nice, as were the grounds. Personally, I preferred exploring Castelo de Mor, a reconstruction of an 8th century Moorish castle built during the Romanticism period. I'm a big fan of these ancient fortresses, and although much of it is reconstructed, there are still some traces of the original structure. You can also get great views out over the surroundings if you walk along its narrow walls. Careful though, it can get windy up there. For something a bit different, visit the whimsical Quinta de Regalera. This mysterious, quirky palace and its sprawling grounds are great examples of what people can create with a lot of imagination, money and time on their hands. Once back in Lisbon, head to the busy streets to find somewhere for one last dinner. For ideas about where to eat, check out my Lisbon restaurant guide in the video description. The best meal I had here was in O Vallo, a modern taberna serving creative twists on classic Portuguese cuisine. Or maybe visit Ramiro, a legendary seafood restaurant known for its incredibly fresh produce. Depending on when you fly out, spend your last day relaxing and enjoying Lisbon at a nice slow pace. Enjoy a leisurely breakfast of pastel de natas and one cheeky last glass of port. Chill out in one of the city's iconic kiosks in a square with a coffee while people watching, or do some last minute shopping to pick up some souvenirs. A popular item to take back home are tins of fish in stylish packaging, which may sound strange, but Portugal is famous for them. Once ready, head to Lisbon Airport, which is an easy 20-minute Uber ride from the city centre. So, there you have it, 10 fun, relaxing and memorable days in stunning Portugal. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe for more travel tips and inspiration.